All right, hello everybody. What's going on? I want to make sure that if I type in the chat, it pops up, and if everything is good, we'll see. All right, let's get right into the live recap. Let me pull up Tapology. I'm going to do this off the cuff. I didn't really write too many notes. This card was a little rough, I'm not going to lie. Maybe there's a better way I can film this. Why don't we go super zoom, and then all right, I'll just click on the match. All right, so our first matchup on this card was Narulo Aliev versus Rafael Alves. Narulo Aliev wins by a three round decision. What it says, he won by a 3-round decision. Basically, at the beginning of the matchup, Rafael Alves landed a couple good shots, and then Aliev took him down. Basically, did the Khabib game plan. The second round was very interesting. Well, actually, in the first round, apparently Aliev bit Alves. I'm not too sure what happened there. You can see his hand go kind of under. He said he was moving up his jaw, and Aliev bit him. I don't know how that's quite possible, but maybe he fish hooked him, or not fish hooked him. I think I missaid that on stream, but he put his hands inside his mouth and he bit down, but you couldn't really see it. So honestly, I get standing them up. I think you should stand them up, but I don't think you should take a point from that. But it did end up being like a 9-9 round for Aliev because he did win the round and then he did get a point taken away. So it was a 9-9 round for him. Second round was very interesting. I'm sorry, it was the third round. Second round, Aliev won. The third round was very interesting because Alves landed a really good knee, and then he was able to jump a Gilly eventually, and then he ended on top of Aliev. Aliev was eventually be able to get him over, be on top of him, and then ride out the rest of the round. So Aliev won this fight by a 3-round decision. Some of the judges, I believe one of the judges had it 28-28 going in. So we got a chat up. We have CL Strum. I didn't expect Brandon to dominate Andre like that. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say it was necessarily domination, but because I did think Winiz did win on the feet. But yeah, I was not expecting him to submit him at all. I thought that was absolutely insane. What else we got here? He shouldn't have put his hand in his mouth. That's his own fault. Well, yeah, 100%. I didn't understand that. He said he was trying to move his hand up because he said he grabbed under the chin, but I don't know how you can bite someone if your hand is under the chin. So it's whatever. I don't think you should take a point away. I think you should actually stand him up. But I believe one of the judges' scorecard was a 28-28. And then I think the rest were like 29-27. So good win for Narulo Aliev. Very tough opponent against Rafael Alves for his first opponent. So let's go to the second matchup. Joe Solecki versus Carl Deaton. Carl Deaton showed really good defensive grappling in this one, but Joe Solecki, I think, was just too much for him. Joe Solecki wins by a second round rear naked choke. Joe Solecki kind of just rioted on his back for most of the round, and then I believe that was the first round. Second round, he takes him down, eventually gets his back. Carl Deaton fights it, but towards the end of the round, Joe Solecki was able to get his arm under Carl Deaton's neck and was able to submit him. Pretty much all how that fight went. Carl Deaton did a good job defensively, but it was a good win for Joe Solecki. So good win for him. Not much to really take away from that fight, but Joe Solecki does have some really good wrestling grappling. So very good win for him. Next matchup on the card was Ode Osborne versus Charles Johnson. Ode Osborne wins by a split decision. I believe it was a split decision, right? Yeah, it was a split decision. So for this matchup, I believe Ode Osborne, I haven't checked the actual judges' scorecards, but for what I had, I believe Ode Osborne won that first round. I think he landed up much more damaging shots. But I do think the second and third round were pretty interchangeable. I think they're actually pretty close rounds. The third round, they were both pretty tired, so they're both pretty much exchanging on the feet. So I can get it going either way. I can honestly see it. I think the judges saw that second round, and I think Charles Johnson probably got the best there with the grappling and the wrestling. Was able to move in there, but good win for Ode Osborne. I could really see it go either way, so good win for him. I was going to choose him. I did see his losses and things like that where he pretty much just lost by finish. So I was going to take Ode Osborne, but I thought against it and chose Charles Johnson. So is what it is. Let's move on to the next fight. Good win for Ode Osborne, especially coming off of that bad KO loss. Speaking of a bad KO loss, we have Jordan Levitt versus Victor Martinez. Oh my gosh, can you get a worse KO loss in the UFC than losing to Jordan Levitt by KO? I don't know. But Victor Martinez coming in off the Contender Series faces Jordan Levitt, who did get submitted by Paddy Pimblett. Gets absolutely KO'd. I mean, man, okay, there's another chat here. I think I missed it. I'm saying Brandon dominated him on the ground. Andre's supposed to be, yeah, 100%. Brandon did really well on the ground. I 100% get you there. He definitely should have done way better on the ground than what Brendan Allen was able to do on the ground. That was kind of crazy. But for this next matchup, Jordan Levitt versus Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez coming from the Contender Series. Levitt kind of just controlled this whole fight, went in for takedowns. The stand-up was kind of even until Jordan Levitt pretty much got his neck and just unloaded some knees against him against the fence. And yeah, he kind of just went out. He dropped down, went to like a knee, and then he got kneed again. Or didn't go to a knee, but dropped down a little bit, got kneed again, and then just went out. And then Jordan Levitt hit a split. Acted like he was going to twerk. Didn't happen, but after the post-fight interview, he told Bisping to run out of the way and did some dirty dancing with his coach. So the zestiness of Jordan Levitt continues, and he continues to get a pretty wild KO victory. So good win for Jordan Levitt. Good to see him get a knockout. It was a pretty insane knockout, I'm not going to lie. And then UFC probably reevaluating keeping Victor Martinez in the UFC after getting KO'd by Jordan Levitt. But Jordan Levitt did kind of have a little bit more pop in his shots. He is a little softer on the feet. But for this next matchup, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really pay attention too much to it. First round, I think, was a little bit closer, but second round, Jasmine Jasudavicius was able to get her on the ground and get her into a crucifix. It was either that or the second or third round. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't paying too much attention to this fight, but Jasmine Jasudavicius wins this matchup. I remember her just dominating it on the ground in the second and third round. I believe the second round she did get a crucifix and was just unloading elbows on Gabriela Fernandez. A good win for Jasmine Jasudavicius. I chose Fernandez in this matchup, so I guess you kind of just win some and lose some, especially with the women's MMA fights. So good win for Jasmine Jasudavicius. Not much to take from there. Let's see. Okay, Trevor Peek versus Eric Gonzalez. A very fun fight. A fight that ended at 4:59. I did see on the UFC Instagram that some people were saying it was an early stoppage. I don't believe so. I mean, Eric Gonzalez was taking so much damage in this matchup. It was very brutal, I'm going to be honest. Trevor Peek came out there looking really good. He was actually throwing really wide shots. I think someone that's a little bit more technical could probably take advantage of it. But Trevor Peek is a very entertaining fighter. I was rooting for him quite a bit, especially after his Contender Series matchup. So he actually looked really good in here. He didn't actually get hit too much, honestly. I thought Eric Gonzalez was going to put up a little bit more tougher of a test. He did take down Trevor Peek, but Trevor Peek was able to scramble pretty well in this matchup and looked pretty good on the ground. Was able to scramble out of a couple pretty tough positions, was able to get up right off his feet. And the only thing that was really stopping Trevor Peek from finishing in this fight earlier was Eric Gonzalez shooting him for takedowns and getting him down. Other than that, he was pretty much dominating this whole entire fight on the feet. Looked really good. So I was super impressed with Trevor Peek. Was very open on the feet. I think we should put him in a arena next. I think he's one of those fighters that can be very entertaining, and you can put him in an arena and get the crowd going. Kind of like one of those Nate the Train fighters, that just have we'll give you a good speech at the end, and we'll pump up the crowd. You're Renato Moicano. Maybe he's not as much of a character. He seems a little bit more like a character. Maybe if he starts to be a little bit more extroverted on the mic, he can do really well, especially with the fans, in the fans' eyes for sure. But he looked really good in this matchup. He hurt Eric Gonzalez a lot. I don't think it was early. Eric Gonzalez was pretty much out on the ground. He couldn't even get up. So even if this fight did go to the second round, you actually have to get up without allowing, like a coach or someone helping you up. So this fight would have been over for sure. I think it's like 7 or 8 seconds or something like that where you had to get up. He couldn't even stand up. So this fight would have ended anyways. Good win for Trevor Peek in the UFC. I'd be happy to see where he goes next. Didn't take too much damage either. So hopefully we can get him out there soon. How old is he again? I think he's early. Okay, so he's 28. So he can definitely improve. I'd like to see him improve a little bit more. Still looks a little green in there. So good win for him. Up the card, we have Mike Mallet versus Johan Liness. I actually predicted Mike Mallet in this one, or Mike Malott, I think is how you say it. Mike Malott, I predicted in this one. It looked pretty good, especially on the feet and on the ground. Landed some good shots. He was able to keep a really good distance with Johan Liness. Johan Liness has a lot of power. He's a very lengthy dude, so I can completely understand it. Johan Liness had like a 3-inch reach advantage. It seemed like Johan Liness was trying to get some good counter shots in, especially standing in the middle. It seemed like Mike Malott was just circling around, keeping good distance with his feet. So, and Mike Malott was able to land a lot of body kicks. So I think a lot of guys should be trying to do that against Johan Liness. Johan Liness doesn't have the best cardio, and if you land a lot of good body kicks, you can start to get at him a little bit. He's not going to be as effective in the fight. And Mike Malott was able to get him to the ground and was able to just choke him out on the ground with what submission was it? Was it like an arm triangle? What was it? Yeah, an arm triangle. Did really good there. Looked super impressive. Good win over Johan Liness for Mike Malott. I believe this is his second fight in the UFC. I think he had one Contender Series fight and then two normal fights. Yeah. Okay. So good win for him there. Predicted him to win. Let's move on up the card. We have Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. Make sure I'm caught up with chat. This matchup, it did start out pretty slow, but Tatiana Suarez was definitely able to get her to the ground in the second round and able to finish her off by a submission. Good return fight. She says she's going back down to 115, so maybe this is a good step in, get right fight before, after 4 years of not fighting. This is a good fight to go into and get yourself right. So good win for Tatiana Suarez. Not too much to say here. I knew she was probably going to win by finish. So first round finish, I predicted, but it was a second round finish. Was able to get her down in the first round. Didn't look too impressive, honestly, in that first round, but was able to start getting things going in that second and get the submission. So good win for Tatiana Suarez in this one. To our co-main event, because the main event of Nikita Krylov and Ryan Spann fell out because Nikita Krylov had issues after it was food poisoning after his weight cut. So this morning, I guess he had issues with food poisoning and he's getting fluids. So hopefully he's doing all right. Hopefully they reschedule that event. That would be actually pretty cool. But for this co-main event, it was very boring. I almost fell asleep during it, honestly. Augusto Sakai versus Don'Tale Mayes. Augusto Sakai, pretty much, if he wasn't holding Don'Tale Mayes' head under his arm and trying to knee him and things like that, he's basically just laying against him against the cage. It was a very boring fight. Not too much to say here other than Augusto Sakai avoided being cut by the UFC. It seems like we have lost. I feel bad for these matchups. I'm just going to be completely honest. It's good to see him get another win, but it was a very boring fight. I wish it could have been better. But Don'Tale Mayes, I think I guess his last fight was a no contest because Hamdi tested positive for some kind of roid or whatever. So that fight was a no contest. So I guess he's still doing good. He's only on a 1 fight losing streak at this point. But I did think Don'Tale Mayes was going to win this one. He didn't. So it is what it is. Augusto Sakai wins by a very boring decision. I wish it was a little bit more entertaining, but it is what it is. Let's move on to our main event, a very entertaining fight. The first round of this matchup, first and second round were actually pretty close, in all honesty. People are already ranking this at the 24th best submission. Well, I'm just going to be honest. There's not too many submissions of 2023, so it doesn't really matter. But a great submission win over Andre Muniz, Brendan Allen did. In all honesty, I guess I'll talk about it after, but in the first round of this fight, I thought Brendan Allen landed, I believe it was a left hand that kind of rocked Andre Muniz a little bit. At least live viewing it, it looked like he rocked him, held him against the cage and hit him with left hand, and he kind of just stumbled back a little bit. And then Brendan Allen, in this fight, showcasing his wrestling abilities, I guess. Andre Muniz was able to get him to the ground, and then Brendan Allen flipped him over and was able to get it on top. I believe that was the second round too, or something like that. Weirdly enough, it felt like Andre Muniz was kind of getting the best of Brendan Allen on the feet in this one, and then Brendan Allen was getting the best of Andre Muniz on the ground in this one. So super weird fight, but Brendan Allen ends up getting the win. This honestly kind of just shows, not that Brendan Allen is bad, and not that Muniz is, well, Muniz should have won this fight, but not saying that Brendan Allen is bad or anything. I like Brendan Allen. But I think this kind of tells a lot about the division of The middleweights, 100%. Let me go to the rankings real quick. Good thing I had it open already. For the middleweight division, we have Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, and then who? Jared Cannonier, who's solid. Marvin Vettori, who is all right. He's not like, he's good. He's solid everywhere, but not good, like great anywhere, which is his main issue. Your 4 guys are probably going to be Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, Alex Pereira, and Khamzat Chimaev when he moves up to that division. Like, this division is dead. 100%. Paulo Costa did not look good in his last performance. Derek Brunson did not look good in his last performance. Marvin Vettori did not look good in his last performance. Got destroyed by Robert Whittaker. Sean Strickland looked decent against Nasruddin Imavov. Good for him, actually. It was on short notice. Maybe he's a new guy on the street. Who knows? But this division is entirely wide open. Like, who is in this division? People need to figure that out. Dricus du Plessis, I think he's going to start rising soon after the Derek Brunson fight, which I think he'll win. So he'll probably rise up in the rankings pretty fast. But this division is kind of just, like, outside the top 4, top 5, this is like very embarrassing, in all honesty. The top 4 fighters of that division, so including Pereira, I don't know what this is. It's very hard to look at. This is not a good division outside of the top people. So we'll see how this division goes. Guys like Bo Nickel will probably just go up to the top, in all honesty. Like, I don't know. You can see why Alex Pereira was able to get to the top so fast when looking at these rankings. Like, Dricus will probably move up. Like I said, Dolidze is finding ways to win. Good for him. I think, Dolidze is fighting Vettori soon, so we'll see how that one goes. If Dolidze is able to get the best of Vettori on the ground or on the feet, we'll see what happens there. But I think we need a decent shuffle of the middleweight division. A number 11 ranked guy should not be losing to an unranked guy, in my opinion. Brendan Allen is good, but Muniz, that's a very rough loss to have, in all honesty. So this is my fight recap. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to do it very quickly. I'm a little hungry, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, this was actually a decent card. I didn't mind the step-in main event. It's not like it was the Lewis Spivak card of last year, where it was just straight up Njoku versus Ayankutalaba. That was a very bad main event. It was a solid co-main event, but at least we had a decent co-main event, and which is why when you have a good co-main event, you can move it up to the main event and it'll be fine. So good win for Brendan Allen, even though it's like, what the hell is the middleweight division? Brendan Allen's probably going to get ranked, is my assumption. So good win for him there. Still a decent card with the main event switch. Wish we still got Krylov and Spann, but good card overall. A little bit slow towards the end with the Sakai decision, but everything else was pretty decent. This fight was the Sudovicius and Fernandez was a little slower, but everything else was actually a pretty good fight. Osborne, Charles Johnson, even though it was a split decision, was pretty nice. Nurul Aliyev was pretty nice because there was a couple of different situations where Alves got on top and landed some good shots. So good fights overall on this card. I'm super excited for UFC 285. I'll be putting out full card predictions for tomorrow is my plan. Hopefully that goes through and nothing really gets mixed up and I don't have to put it on Monday or whatever. But the plan is for full card predictions to come out on tomorrow and then do some kind of breakdown of the Jones and the Cyril Gahn fight on like Monday or Tuesday. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure or let me know what you guys think of this entire card, honestly. I know some people didn't like it. What did you guys think of the main event? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Full card predictions out tomorrow. I'm going to try. So, see you.